Good evening and welcome to the Duke University Paralegal Certificate Program information session. My name is Stephanie Plowman and with me is Rebecca Lentz, Program Manager at Duke University. And this evening we're going to tell you everything and anything you ever wanted to know about the Duke Paralegal Program. So let's get started. Now, before we get into the thick of things, just a couple housekeeping matters. This system is very, very sensitive, so everybody's audio is turned off. However, we do welcome questions, and we are ready, willing, and able to answer questions. So please feel free to type any questions you may have into the questions box on your GoToWebinar panel on your screen, and those questions will pop up on my screen and I will read them out loud, and then either Rebecca or myself will address them. So there we go. Now let us get started. Okay, now we're going to start off by talking about the paralegal profession in general a little bit, and then we're going to get into the specifics of the Duke program. So in regard to the profession in general, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics estimates that the paralegal profession is projected to grow by about 18% between 2010 and 2020. And this is actually a really great rate of growth, especially everything that's been going on in the economy since about 2009 or so. Now back then when the economy first started to crash, law firms were finding that they were unable to keep up with the salaries of their young attorneys and associates, and unfortunately for those attorneys, they were finding themselves without jobs. But as far as the law firms were concerned, there was still work and somebody needed to do it. So they found it incredibly cost effective on their end and very efficient as well to bring in paralegals. Because for all intents and purposes, paralegals can do the same type of work as a young associate attorney, but for, of course, advising clients and going to court. But as far as the writing, the research, the working with clients, file work, work like that, the law firms were finding that paralegals were able to step into those attorneys' shoes very well. Now, in addition to the rate of employment, there are various niche areas of law. I like to refer to them as niche areas where paralegals are uniquely situated to step in quickly and get a lot of responsibility and a lot of autonomy. So there's a lot of demand for paralegals to step into these areas of law. Real estate, it's a great area of law for paralegals, can be very, very form-heavy, very detailed-oriented. Just as an aside, for the real estate example, in addition to being the program coordinator on the development end for the Duke program, I'm also a practicing attorney in New York. And while my specialty is federal criminal defense, I work for a solo practitioner. And so when you work for a solo, sometimes you find yourself doing a little bit of everything. And so I've often had to pick up some real estate closings for family members who've either wanted to buy or sell houses. And in particular, there was one real estate transaction that I worked on, and I got the transaction after the contract had already been negotiated, so we were just dealing with the mortgage and adjustments and getting ready for closing and such. But I dealt with the paralegal from beginning to end, the paralegal for the other side of the transaction. And she was absolutely spectacular. She knew everything. She answered all my questions, and I felt so silly, constantly going to her for questions since we were on opposite sides of the transaction. But she was absolutely spectacular, handled everything from soup to nuts, very knowledgeable, had clearly a lot of responsibility in her firm. When we got to the closing, she handled it from beginning to end. I didn't even meet the attorney during that entire transaction. The paralegal was wonderful and did such a spectacular job. I actually emailed him afterwards and thanked him and let him know how wonderful she was. So, long story short, or long, real estate, great areas of law for paralegals to get into. Also, other areas of law that can be a little bit form-heavy: intellectual property law, immigration law. If you're ready, willing, and able to keep up with the ever-changing immigration laws, that's a great area for paralegals. And then just going back to the economy, areas of law that are hot because of what's going on in the world and what has been going on in the world. Bankruptcy, sometimes going hand in hand with that, matrimonial, but there are a lot of great opportunities out there for paralegals, and especially those paralegals who have training and who have a legal baseline and some legal knowledge. Now, CareerCast estimates that paralegal is one of the top 10 careers, so there's also a lot of job satisfaction in being a paralegal. And CNN Money estimates that a corporate paralegal is one of the top 50 best jobs in America. So of course you always want to go to work and be happy with where you're going and what you're doing, and again, that job satisfaction is there in the paralegal profession. Now I'm going to throw it to Rebecca Lentz at Duke, who's going to get into the specifics of the Duke program. So Rebecca, whenever you are ready.
Thank you, Stephanie. I wanted to take a moment to review the different kind of programs that we offer for paralegal here at the university. As you'll see on the slide, we do offer both an online and a classroom program. This webinar tonight is focusing on the Fall 2016 classroom program, which is offered on Duke's campus in Durham, North Carolina. It's located in the Smith Warehouse, which is right in downtown Durham. For the classroom program, we offer it in the spring, fall, and a summer intensive session. And of course, it's a live, interactive, and personalized instruction. The classroom program is also approved by the North Carolina Paralegal Certification Board. So if you were looking to get certified by the state, then our program is an educational approved program, and we actually do have the highest pass rate in the state. Now you'll see on the left that we also offer an online program. This is structured a little bit differently than the classroom program as a self-paced online program that is entirely student-driven. So students don't have any deadlines. They can begin the program at their discretion, but they have 1 year to complete the entire program. So this program is more appropriate for someone who needs a lot of flexibility, or people who are not local to the Raleigh-Durham area that would be unable to come on campus and complete it in person with us here at Duke. So Stephanie, if you would move to the next slide. All right. As I mentioned before, the program will take place at the Smith Warehouse, which is simple access right next to Duke's East Campus in downtown Durham. And I like to let students know that we do have gated parking close to the entrance because, of course, security is a concern. And you'll see that there's a gated parking lot right there, so students are able to get to the building quickly and simply. They don't have to drive all over campus, and there is ample parking waiting for you whenever you arrive. All right, if we'll move on to the next slide. Here are just a few photos of the Smith Warehouse. To let you know that we have a nice big classroom, we have a cafe for snacks and lunch, and we do also have a lounge area with a refrigerator and microwave. Since our students are coming in the evening, the program is from 6 until 10. A lot of times you need to bring dinner or snacks, and we do make sure that we have some facilities available to help assist with that as well. All right, we can move on to the next slide. A little bit about the schedule. This Fall 2016 program is a 5-month program. It's going to begin on Wednesday, September 7th, 2016, and it will conclude on Thursday, January 12th, 2017. And basically, it's evening and weekends. Class will meet every Monday and Wednesday. It will meet most Thursdays from 6 to 10 p.m. On the weeks that it does not meet on Thursdays, it will meet on Saturdays. So every Monday and Wednesday, and then either Thursday night or Saturday during the day. And those Saturday classes will meet 5 times. I do have an official schedule that is a little too tight to squeeze on a PowerPoint presentation, so I will email it to participants so that they can take a look at all of the dates that are also listed on our website. All right, we can move on to the next slide. A little bit about the curriculum. Of course, we have the curriculum sectioned into a few different areas. We start with essential skills, which is really the introduction to the law. In essential skills, you're going to learn about legal writing and research, terminology, court structure, how to use the law library, ethics, and law office etiquette. And during this class you're going to have one instructor, you have a bundle of textbooks and resources to help support it, and you really focus on building a portfolio of legal documents that you can demonstrate to employers that you understand all of the basics that paralegals do. And then you'll see on the right we also have substantive courses. And these are courses that are in specific areas of the law. And that includes contract law, real estate, family law, and tort law. Now for these classes, they're a little bit shorter. You'll see that essential skills is really a big bulk of the curriculum with 96 hours, whereas these substantives are anywhere between 24 and 30. With these substantive classes, you will have a different instructor in different textbooks for each of the course, and your instructors will be practicing attorneys who specialize in that substantive area. So with these classes, you're going to have a combination of lecture, discussion, demonstrations, group projects, independent projects, and you will be evaluated based on quizzes, exams, and writing assignments. So we do understand that most of our learners are adult learners. Some people are coming back to school after a long time away, so we do use a variety of modalities for teaching and also evaluating our students. If we move on to the next slide, you will see that we have some more information about the curriculum. We also have survey classes, and those are the Saturday classes that I mentioned, similar to a substantive course where it's in a specialized area of law, but perhaps these areas don't need as much attention or length of time as the 24 hours. But we do still find that they're important to students to have a basic level of understanding. And also, you may see some questions on the state certification exam in these subject areas. So we do like to give students at least a base knowledge in these areas. And those classes include business law, criminal law, constitutional law, and wills, estates, and trusts. Additionally, we have a class that's called Employment Strategies, where we have a Duke Career Center counselor to work with our students to talk about resume writing and cover letters. They discuss interview skills and salary negotiations. And we also have a small panel of former Duke graduates, Duke paralegals, who have been in the students' shoes before and have gone out in the industry, and they're willing to talk to you a little bit about what their experience was like and what you can expect in the workforce. You'll see, as the slide indicates, that there are various instructors. So again, more professionals, more attorneys that you're going to have an opportunity to meet in the classroom, and there are no textbooks for these courses. In addition to our live instruction, we also have ample online support through our website called paralegalspace.com. And this website is going to help you have an abundance of resources, including the interactive study support that you can follow along through your text. You'll have practice quizzes and exams, and we're going to go through this in just a minute. And you also have your access to Westlaw and Lexis tutorials through this website. Our students are given access to Westlaw and Lexis, which are the legal research engines, during the program. And all of this is included as part of your essential skills bundle in your textbook. So not only do you get the printed textbooks, but you also get this online support and codes to the online research engines. So if we move on to the next slide, I'm going to pass it back to Stephanie, who's going to take a few moments to walk us through this paralegalspace.com so that we can see some more of the features that really help support our students during their time in the program.
And I am ready as always. Thank you, Rebecca, for that great breakdown of the program. Now, a really important aspect of the paralegal program is our website, paralegalspace.com. And at the outset, it's a communications portal among instructors, administrators, and students. And you can see right here, there are a series of recent announcements, information that we convey to students over the course of the program about classes, things to read, scheduling, all sorts of things that we deem important for you as you are progressing through the program. But over here on the left-hand side, you can see a series of black links, and we are going to go through a couple of those right now so you can see what's behind them and what they are all about. Now, okay, I have a crazy mouse going on here. All right, so this is the Resources tab, and this is where your instructors and administrators will post additional resources for you with materials which will assist you understanding everything that you are learning in the program. Now, these materials can range from, you can see a timesheets folder. You will keep time of your quote-unquote billable hours as you are working on your assignments throughout the program, PowerPoints for the various classes, whatever the instructors feel will be helpful to you in understanding and digesting the material. But really what paralegal space is all about, and its most important function, is the study support that accompanies each one of your classes. Now, this is where you will find support to track each one of the chapters in your essential skills books as well as your substantive classes. Now, what we recommend that you do is you read the material prior to coming to class, go to class and listen to and participate in the lectures, and then work through the corresponding study support online on Paralegal Space. It builds upon what you learned in class. It enhances it. It's a wonderful review. You'll see we're going to get to some slides soon with all sorts of mock exams and quizzes, and it really helps you understand the foreign language of the law, because learning the law can really be like learning a foreign language, and not only because there's a lot of Latin involved. It's a different way of thinking. It's a different way of speaking. With time and practice, you just get better and better with it, and that is what the study support is all about. So essentially, the way the support is broken down is each in essential skills, and this is a slide showing you how the essential skills support is broken down. The material is broken down into segments, so it's very manageable. So for instance, segment A will cover volume 1, chapters 1 through 6 in your book. And again, what you'll do is read the material, go to class, and then work through the corresponding support. Now, the support runs the gamut, so it's not going to be the same every single time. We want to keep it interesting. We want you to wonder what's going to be behind link 1.3 when you click on it. But there will be lecture notes. This is kind of explaining the different terminology that you're going to learn. Again, getting back to the foreign language of the law and learning all the words in the lexicon that are going to be important to you and really part of your own lexicon as you move forward in the paralegal profession. There are interactive demonstrations, tools, exercises, charts, legal cartoons, you name it, it is probably there. Again, we want to keep it interesting and fun for you and really help you to learn the law in an engaging way. We have interactive quizzes, and this is an example of an interactive quiz in citations in essential skills. And then various other ways for you to lock in and understand that information. Now, here is an example of the mock exams, and we have lots of mock exams and practice exams and quizzes and such on Paralegal Space in the study support for you. Again, to review, to make sure you understand the material that you're learning about in class and that's being covered in the books, to see what you're an expert on already, what you may need a little bit more help on. But when you are working through the mock exams, and these are for you, you only, you don't get a grade on any of them, no one else sees your results in the mock exams, but when you are working through them, you'll get instant feedback so you can see what you got right, what you got wrong, and why the correct answer is in fact the correct answer. You can also see here at the bottom of the slide there is a study link to additional material on that particular concept. So if you're not quite an expert yet, you can get a little bit more help. Now, in addition to the support that tracks the chapters in your books, we do have 3 additional labs on Paralegal Space. One of them is the Law Library Lab, and this is an area of the site where you can familiarize yourself with the types of materials that you will find in an actual brick-and-mortar law library, and also on Westlaw and Lexis, the 2 main legal databases that attorneys and paralegals and law firms use in order to do research, and we'll talk about that a little bit more in a second. But to utilize the Law Library Lab on the site. You simply click on whichever book in the stack you would like to take a look at, and then the book will open up so you can see what it's all about inside. On the right-hand side, you can get all the information you ever wanted and then some about this particular book, these volumes, what's in them, how to use them in your legal research, whether they are primary authority, secondary authority, and how you can be an efficient researcher and quickly find what you are looking for in these particular books. So you can take a look at the cover, the index, again, see how the materials are organized, and just really get comfortable with these materials. Legal research is a really valued skill in a paralegal. It's an important skill in a paralegal, and it's important to be an efficient legal researcher. So you want to have a good idea of how the materials are organized so you can quickly, or at least somewhat quickly, efficiently find what you are looking for in order to find the support for your arguments and for your client. You will learn about how the various materials are updated, and then again, just going back to efficiency, various keys and hints in how to find what you're looking for within each book. Do you start in the index? Do you start in the table of contents? Where do you start to find what you need? Now, I just mentioned it, Westlaw and Lexis. This is always everybody's favorite part. Everybody wants to know when they're going to get their Westlaw and Lexis codes to start online research. Now, just to back up for a moment, Westlaw and Lexis are the two main legal databases that, again, lawyers, law firms, paralegals use in order to do legal research. Now, in practice, law firms will generally only have one or the other because Westlaw and Lexis are very expensive. So you will learn both in the program because you don't know what you're going to get in practice. They are substantially similar, but we want you to be comfortable with both so you can jump in with both feet when it is time to research when you are working as a paralegal. Now, your Westlaw codes are good for the duration of the program, and Lexis is good for 1 year from your start date. So that's very exciting because you can keep researching even after the program is over. Now, unlike in practice where I mentioned Westlaw and Lexis are very expensive, when you use them in practice, as the clock is ticking and you're clicking around looking for cases and support for your arguments, the dollar signs are going up. That is not happening here in the program. Your Westlaw and Lexis access are a part of your technology fees that are included in the purchase of your essential skills books, so you can stay logged on to both for as long as you want. You can research for as long as you want, and you don't have to worry about that ticking clock. Now, within the last 2 years or so, Westlaw and Lexis have updated their databases, so they are more akin to a Google search these days, which has made research a lot more fun, a lot easier, quite frankly. But, you know, there's still a lot of databases to find materials and to click in and to look for the various cases and secondary authority and law review articles and such, which are going to assist you in your legal writing. So for both Westlaw and Lexis, we recommend that students log into both sites to work through the various labs that are available, labs and tutorials and all sorts of things. Webinars that both companies, webinars just like we're doing right now, webinars that both companies schedule to assist you, again, in being an efficient researcher. And since those databases have been updated, Westlaw and Lexis have included really amazing resources for students and for researchers to ensure that you have all the support that you need and understand the best way to click around to find what you need. Now, in addition to the Legal Research Lab and also the Citations Lab that we have on the site, we also have an interactive writing lab which will provide you with templates for each one of the documents that you will prepare in your Essential Skills class. Now, in Essential Skills, you will prepare documents ranging from simple legal writing such as a demand letter, client correspondence, all the way up to pleadings, discovery demands, and a summary judgment motion at the end of the program. So you probably want to see other such documents to make sure that you are on the right track. And that is where the interactive writing labs come in handy. You will find templates for all of those documents. I've been practicing law for about 15 years. I can probably count on, at this point I have to say I can probably count on two hands the number of documents that I have drafted completely from scratch. I always use templates. We all use templates. Why reinvent the wheel? If you have drafted a summons and complaint for an automobile accident case and a new automobile accident case comes into your office 6 months later, you're not going to start from scratch. You're going to take that summons and complaint you drafted 6 months ago, take out the old facts, put in the new, and have a really great draft to show to your attorney. So with that in mind, we have these templates for you. Now, not only do we have the templates for you, but over here on the right-hand side, you can, after choosing which document you are drafting, you can listen to an audio lecture about that particular document. Right here, you can listen to the audio lecture, and then right underneath that, you can take a look at a step-by-step guide which explains the reasoning behind and for each one of the components of that particular document so you can ensure that you are including everything you need to include. So again, this is very helpful in assisting with legal writing and getting you off on the right foot. Just some other fun things about paralegal space. We also have an interactive study support checklist, where you've been kind of tracker, so to speak. This is so you can keep track of where you've been on the site. This is just for you. This is for your convenience, and it's just a way for you to keep track of the study support you have already worked through and the support yet to come. So when you have worked through support for a particular section or chapter, you can see the little dot is green. When you have not worked through it yet, the dot is red. So this is a great way for you to keep track of what you have worked through within the support. We also have continued access for graduates. Once you have successfully completed the program, we will move you over to a graduate site. It has all the same study support and such as the main site that you will use during the actual program, in addition to a forms companion and all sorts of good stuff for you as you are getting out into the legal profession, so you can have a frame of reference and things to check back on in the event you need any templates or documents or refreshers on anything that you have learned in the program. All right, completion requirements. Now, you must successfully complete the essential skills curriculum and each substantive class. You must work through all class projects, library research, exams, and a comprehensive final. And you must achieve at least an 80% or above cumulative on the substantive classes, as well as 80% or higher in essential skills in order to earn the certificate. You are also expected and required to attend class. Of course, we're going through a lot of information in a short period of time, so not only will you miss a lot of that information and a lot of that content if you're not in class, but you also will be running afoul of the attendance requirements. So you are expected to attend class. There is a very strict 80% attendance policy in both essential skills and the substantive classes. Now I'm going to, I think I'll take this one before throwing it over to you, Rebecca, again, but obviously if there's anything I miss in any of these slides, please feel free to jump on in. As far as admission requirements are concerned, you must have either an associate's or bachelor's degree to enroll. Word processing, basic internet skills, email, generally people have those skills these days, but obviously there is a pretty good technology component in the program, so we certainly want you to be comfortable online. Certainly have a computer that you don't feel is going to crash on you every 5 minutes or you want to throw out the window. So please take a look at these minimum requirements for whatever computer you are using for the program. And also Google Chrome is the preferred web browser. All right, application and registration. Now I am 100% throwing this back to you, Rebecca, so you are up.
All right, thank you, Stephanie. So if you think that you are ready to move forward with the program, the next step would be to apply. You can do so by visiting our website, completing the application form, and there is a $25 application fee. Applications are due by August 19th, although I do recommend students submit their applications as soon as possible because there are a few tasks associated with the application. The second step is submitting your supplemental documents, which are all due by August 25th. Those documents include a resume, a reference letter, a signed program policy which outlines the terms of taking the course, and official college transcripts so that we can verify the minimum educational requirement of an associate's degree. Once we have all of these documents, we do review student files within 3 business days. And upon approval, students will be able to register for the program by August 25th. That is the deadline for registration as class begins on Thursday, September 7th. So Stephanie, if you'll go to the next slide. All right, tuition and financing is always a really important question. The tuition for the program is $5,395 plus the cost of books. The tuition must be paid in full in order to begin the program, and books vary between $550 and $650. That essential skills bundle that we mentioned early on is required to be ordered directly from the publisher, as it has not only the textbooks but also that bundle of resources including your research codes. But the other 4 books for the substantive courses may be purchased online and can be purchased used or new, which is why there's a bit of a variance in price, but some students have been able to find some good deals online by buying some of those books used. As far as financing, we do accept cash or credit card or check. We are able also to accept private student loans through Sallie Mae or Wells Fargo. Now, this is a non-credit program, so continuing studies cannot accept any federal financial aid. So that's the financial aid that students receive when they submit the FAFSA form. But we are able to accept those private student loans, which can help you finance the cost of the tuition over monthly payments. We also offer our own payment plan in which we accept 3 equal payments. One is due, about $1,800 is due right at the time of registration. The next payment of $1,800 is due 6 weeks into the program, and the final payment of $1,795 is due the 10th week of the program. Finally, we also can accept employer assistance. There are some employers who have tuition assistance programs, and those are really handled on a case-by-case basis because all of those programs can be a little bit different. So if that's something that you think you may qualify for, please feel free to give us a call or shoot us an email so we can talk about that option as well. And if you want to move on to the next slide. Oh, yes, this is our last slide. So you can see a picture of our beautiful campus. And if you are ready to apply, there is a link to the application. And of course, if you have questions that were not answered in this webinar, we're happy to help get them answered for you. If you do have questions, now's a great time to go ahead and type your message into the chat feature so that we can read it out loud to the group and answer it for you. Of course, some questions happen after we close everything up. So, of course, we're here throughout the program to answer any questions that you may have. And we'll give it a moment or so to see if there's any that come our way now.
Nothing yet, but I am at the ready. And yes, please do, as Rebecca said, sometimes the most important question, the best question is the one you remember to ask after we've logged off for the night, and that's okay. Please do feel free to reach out to us at paralegal@duke.edu, and we'll be more than happy to address whatever question you may have and whatever comes up. Any final thoughts, Rebecca, as we are waiting to see if any questions come in?
I think we covered pretty much the basics that people are usually looking to know. But I do certainly appreciate everyone's time logging on tonight. This 40 minutes I'm sure was useful, and I'm hoping to see some of these names in the classroom this fall.
Yes, we are always very appreciative of your time. Thank you so much for coming this evening. I don't see any questions, so I'm going to take that as a good sign that we were pretty thorough, Rebecca, and I will echo your sentiment that we hope to see your names on rosters and faces in classrooms come the fall. So thank you again for attending this evening. Rebecca, thank you as always. And everyone have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much and good night.
Thank you.